loyalty programs create true loyalty? Because I know a lot of us spend a lot of money on them, and some people are thinking about having a loyalty program. So who wants to go first? Kari? Because you know a lot of loyalty program. Yep.
We do have a very... At Choice Hotels, we do have a very large loyalty program, but I don't think it's the loyalty program per se that creates loyalty, rather it facilitates loyalty. So I think those the fundamentals are the most important thing, providing and delivering on a good customer service so that the customer can recall you. But in terms of the loyalty program, it certainly, if you get those fundamentals right, can support that through and provide the additional incentives to come back to your hotel.
Yeah. Georgina?
We don't actually have a loyalty program at Brook, Serene boutique hotels. We've got independent hotels. What we have is a recognition program. So I guess the question is, do you consider a reward program and a loyalty program as the same thing? I would argue that they're not, and I'd defer back to Kari that they are very, very different. A reward and recognition program can drive loyalty, but how many people, just consider a case study of you get to your hotel, you go to check in, and they say to you, are you a member of our loyalty program? If you sign up today, we'll give you a free drink voucher. You say yes, you receive the email, you get your drink voucher, and less than 12 hours later, you delete the 5 emails that arrived overnight. That loyalty program did not actually drive loyalty. All it drove was a specific behaviour and action in a moment in time, which is not the outcome you want.
Yeah. Stephanie?
I would tend to agree that I don't think it drives necessarily loyalty or creates a loyal customer. That all comes from the customer service and looking after the guest and creating some excellent experiences, but it does, I think, help with engagement and creates hopefully an ongoing relationship with that property and hopefully becomes part of the overall purchase decision when it comes to booking.
Yeah. Brad?
Yeah, I think the rewards and incentives, as we were just talking about, very similar. It's what's actually been offered, and everyone's got different needs, so different customers have different requirements. But I think it comes back to the customer service is absolutely critical, and the rewards. We have a rewards program, and it works very, very well for corporates and leisure, and it just depends on how it's the engagement from the actual individuals. Yeah.
Do you think customer loyalty's changed since the pandemic?
Not necessarily. I think people are creatures of habit. If they stay in a particular hotel or they've got a hotel that they choose to stay at on a regular basis, then they'll always return there because, one, they get recognised, and two, that they enjoy staying there for certain reasons, whether it's the location or whether it's the staff recognition, that side of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a traveller. I travel, and I'm probably in a hotel every week. And recently there's hotels I stay in Auckland, and I recently changed brands, probably just about a year ago, because the service wasn't good. Went to this other hotel, and ever since then I've never stayed anywhere else because of that customer. More the service there is incredible. So you can actually create customer loyalty just by providing a great damn service, I think, and that's very, very important. And I think that's something we should never forget. In the CEO panel I hosted before, staff are everything, and that's marketing. Staff are actually marketing your property day in, day out, so never forget them. And every touch point that they have is a marketing point, because I know that if I have a bad incident at the hotel, that's bad marketing. So I know, do you agree or disagree? This is not about me, but you know what I mean? I think it's very important, the whole customer service. Stephanie, you're about to say
absolutely.
something?
I think it does. We don't know how many other people they might tell about that bad experience if it happens. So I think customer service is really the absolute key to our industry. Yeah.
Do you think customers are loyal to a brand?
They can be, but I don't think. I think we are all part of many loyalty programs. So no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you pull out, people say you're loyal to a brand, but pull out all your loyalty cards in your wallet. So. Why would an unbranded hotel join a big brand? Kari?
I think there are many reasons why a hotel would consider either being branded or unbranded for that matter. But if a hotel is wanting to be in business for themselves, but not necessarily by themselves, they can leverage off a brand to, I guess, increase their distribution. So thinking about the distribution, leveraging distribution channels, extending it, acquiring new customers at a lower cost. They can leverage off loyalty programs that do bring in customers at a low cost base. They can leverage off national and international campaigns that they may not be able to do it by themselves. And then finally, I guess joining a big brand, they can leverage off the continual investment in technology and systems that they apply there. So I think there's many reasons to grow customer bases and reduce their costs.
Georgina, you've never joined a brand. I mean, I know that your 2 properties are amazing. They do stand out. Why haven't you joined a part of a big brand? I mean, I know you've been offered, but...
We like to keep our hotels independent and for each of them to have an independent feel that's really authentic to the place that it resides in, to the people that work within it. The customer service is absolutely key. I think we all agree that good customer service is the very first step in creating loyalty. But we do take advantage of distribution channels such as Small Luxury Hotels of the World, which gives us global scope and reach without having to compromise our independent nature.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
I'll
Go.
just add one more point in. I guess there is emerging globally, and Choice is one of the first to do this, that there are the consideration of the soft brand. So in those situations where you want to maintain your own identity but leverage off global distribution systems, you talked about luxury hotels. There's Ascend Hotel Collection, for example, which is a soft brand. So the hotel maintains their own unique, independent flavour, but leverages off those distribution channels.
Yep. Stephanie, you're part of a bigger brand, aren't you? Or?
We're owned and operated by Grand Hotels International, so I guess not part of a bigger brand, but overall we are. But I can definitely see the advantages of why you might want to join a bigger brand in terms of marketing return on investment.
Yeah. Brad, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, well, we've got a couple of brands, but predominantly independents want to keep their independence, but having a brand actually helps open up doors, to different markets, and that's probably the key to it for a lot of people, because ultimately they want to sell more rooms. And that's what most brands will be able to deliver.
Yeah, I mean, I put the panel together because there's a lot of independent brands in New Zealand. We get asked all the time, should I stay with my brand? What should I do as marketers? Should I join a big brand or not? Is it going to improve or not? So has anything changed in market behaviours, or still the same booking channels since the pandemic? Brad?
Look, not being hands-on operations, but what we are seeing is that people resort back to their habits. I think most people, after the pandemic, were very cautious about travelling, and most people were looking for packages and deals, particularly that leisure market and domestic markets. Once the international markets opened up again, then it's a different story, completely back to square one almost. I don't think it's that big a change.
Yeah. Kari?
I think the channels have stayed the same, but the distribution ratio between each channels has varied. I know for us, during COVID and coming out of that, I guess there was a lower trust with some of the OTAs because of negative experiences around flexibility and cancellation policies.
Yeah.
And so we've seen an increase in our direct channels, so that's been a benefit.
Okay. Georgina, no? Huh?
Same for us. OTAs would have been, 3-4 years ago, would have been potentially 65% of all of our business across the 3 hotels. But now the situation's reversed. Of the business that's not being driven through our IBO partners, 65% of it's direct. Our open rate on newsletters and things like that has drastically increased. The engagement has increased, and we're seeing it in the bottom line.
Yeah, Brad?
The other thing is that I think long haul agents are still valuable to people travelling if they haven't been to a destination before. And we see that with the agents. Short haul's a different story. When people have been to the same destination, they'll book direct and online.
In the panel I was on before, someone mentioned that due to it's going to be tough times over the 6 months, the word discounting. Do you agree, don't agree, or what's the best offers out there that you're seeing that are working? There's a lot of small operators in the room, some big operators. What do you see best working at the moment?
I'd like to use the phrase wash your mouth out if you're thinking of discounting. I'm just going to put it out there. We all know what it costs to sell a room. The cost doesn't get less simply because you need to sell that room. Sometimes you're actually better to sell one room at full price and leave the one next door vacant because you've got capex, depreciation, etc. Or small discount across all of your rooms, but I don't think a discount policy is the right way to go for our industry because we're all facing increased costs. We all know what's going to happen with the fair trade or fair pay agreement. You know, that's going to push costs up further. We can't afford to discount. We need to have enough money in the bank to look after our people, our place and our community, and that doesn't happen when we've got a discount mentality.
Anyone else want to add anything? What's working, what's not? Wash your mouth out.
Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
I think it's more about using nimble pricing strategies. So for us at Choice Hotels, it's very much about prioritising our loyal customers. So in terms of discounting, we don't do that in other spaces, but we will make sure that there are incentives for our loyalty customers to come and book at certain periods. And it's also, I mean, the previous panel was about revenue management. It's about understanding the average length of stay. So you might encourage a guest with a slightly deeper discount, but over a set period of time that encourages an extended length within the hotel.
Okay, Stephanie?
I think it comes back to, you know, segmenting and targeting, making sure that if you're doing it, then it's perhaps only a really specific targeted group of customers and not across the board.
Brad, or no? All right. Okay, no, that's all right.
I'm fine.
Let's talk about
the ladies
databases.
covered it well.
No, that's okay. Let's talk about databases and the importance of databases. How do you use your customer database? Because obviously that spurs loyalty. What's the best way to use a customer database, and where do you start from?
Okay, well, everyone's looking at me. By the way, I'm not a marketing person, but I managed to get on this panel. So look, I believe, honestly, it's keeping all your data clean and tidy, making sure your contacts are accurate, ensuring that, because there's nothing worse than sending out some sort of marketing campaign or an EDM, and you've got the wrong person at the other end, or you've got the wrong name.
I agree, yep.
It just doesn't work. You sort of lose your credibility pretty quickly. So I think it's keeping refreshing, making sure it's up to date, making sure it's current.
How are you keeping the databases healthy? Keeping them healthy, or how are you doing that?
Just feed them well.
Yep. Great. Okay. No, that's a very good point. Yep.
Just make sure you've got good systems in place.
Yeah. Very
and
important.
being able to measure that. Yeah.
Yep. Stephanie?
I think data in is so important to making sure that it goes in correctly and that the team members are aware of the importance of why that needs to go in there correctly. And other than that, it's just making sure you've got good systems. You're sort of, I guess, cleaning it regularly, making sure that you're not sending out to unsubscribers, and you've got good policies and targeting, and not just sending out blanket emails.
Yeah. Georgina?
100% agree. I call it hyper-segmentation. We use a tool called Revenate, which I know Adrian's very familiar with, and they use an advanced profile synthesis, which basically scrapes all of your data and looks for the same guest with multiple emails. So they might have stayed with you on a business stay and then come back and stayed on a leisure stay. So they've given you 2 separate email addresses, but Revenate sees that and merges them as one profile, which helps you to keep that data clean. And then using that hyper-segmentation with the communications out to people, so you're only sending them things that are really relevant, and regularly also going through, I guess, a GDPR process to make sure that everyone still wants to opt in, rather than just hoping.
Yeah. And I mean, you have to do that, because to me, as I said in my presentation, you're spamming if you're sending the same email to everyone in your database, and hyper-segmentation is very, very important. You should really be using a CRM, not an email mail program like MailChimp or whatever's out there. You have to be using a CRM, because the more relevant the email or that communication is to the client, the more loyal they are, and the more they're actually going to take action to book direct. So what do you do with your databases, Kari? I know you've got huge ones.
We do. It's the same. So hyper-segmentation, making sure that you get the right message to the right customer. And then the other thing, I guess, something that we do internally is, you talked about healthy databases. We apply an 18-month active profile. So if a guest hasn't had a touch point or some sort of transaction or interaction with us within an 18-month period, they're put into the inactive database.
Okay, no worries. What marketing channels are working best? I mean, obviously email marketing, what marketing channels are working best? There's a lot of small operators here who've got not much money to spend. What marketing channels are working best for you? Because you're all very, very different businesses. Kari?
Well, I guess we work on quite a larger scale than probably some of the others, but I guess there's no one particular channel. It's about having an integrated marketing strategy, and each, I guess, tactic or channel drives a different purpose. But if you wanted one, I'd say Google Hotels is probably the highest returning channel for us.
Right. Go. Yep. Okay. Georgina.
I'm one person in 3 hotels, so yes, we do use Google Hotels, which is a fantastic tool. If you're not on Google and using it actively, then you need to be, and that's something that every small operator can do at basically no cost.
Yep. Stephanie.
I mean, I see different hotels within our group use different channels, perhaps depending on their property size or their market. So I think all sorts of things work. It depends. It might be, and it might be OTAs, or it might be Google or search.
And we see some customers bringing customers in first via an OTA, so it's free marketing, and that's what you do with that customer afterwards. To me, I see a lot of when people come to Fast Track, we see that their database, they don't have the customers booked for an OTA, or the email is still from the OTA. I mean, on check-in, ask them what their email address is and give them an offer to book direct. So to me, an OTA actually does a free marketing for you. So it's what you do with that data after they stay. Because at the end of the day, whose customer is it? Is it the OTA? They've transacted through the OTA, but they've stayed with your hotel. You provided the service. So whose customer is it? Is it the hotel, or is it the actual OTA? So it's up to you to actually ensure that customer that was booked for an OTA is your customer next. Some will still keep booking for an OTA. Did you want to add anything to that, Brad, or no? Sorry.
No, what I was going to say is that what we do is, because we do a lot of inbound wholesale, then obviously we're dealing with a lot with IBOs and agents, so we do a lot of direct with the agents directly and updates on the properties and that we have within our group, and that's probably key to us. It's that face to face.
Yep. Okay. Let's talk about attribution models, and for those of you who don't know what attribution modelling is, what attribution model works best? We're not looking at you, Brad.
Last minute clicks.
That's okay. Huh?
Last minute clicks, I think. Is
Last
probably,
click,
I think so. There's nothing worse than going on looking at an advertising campaign and you end up down a rabbit hole, and you're looking at buying a room, you end up buying a screwdriver or something. So it's really important that you're able to be able to get to that booking. I think that's really critical, because otherwise you're wasting your marketing dollars, to be fair.
Correct, yeah. Stephanie, attribution modelling?
Well, I would say it depends on your goals and your budgets. So I don't have a specific preferred.
Yep. Georgina, no?
We use linear because every step of the process is important, because the traveller journey, as you saw in Michelle's presentation, is vastly more complex than what it used to be.
Yep.
So, yeah. A W attribution model where it's the first, the middle, the last, and then there's some stuff that happens in the middle where you go off and buy a screwdriver if you're Matt. So
Yeah, okay. Kari, do
The same.
That's good. That's all right.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah. Georgina, you talk about you're just a one-man show for 3 hotels. How are you using technology to make more informed decisions, and how are you using it to make marketing easier?
Hotel data, getting the data from the hotels is the first port of call, and making sure that it's clean. And then from there, with our technology, we're just about to go through a process that I think everyone should do every few years, which is to actually map out the architecture of your technology, because it changes so much year on year. I mean, 7 years ago, what did you have? You probably had a PMS and a channel manager, and maybe you had a good website, but now you've got so much more. So I think actually staying on top of technology and looking at what you've got and why you've got it, and is it working for the customer. For us, we're not an app-based hotel.
Yep.
We would prefer something that was more personal and allowed for messaging as well as surveys and a guest compendium and all of that all together.
Yeah. Who else wants to answer how you're integrating tech into your hotel in marketing? You want to answer? No? Yeah? Okay, Kari? Yeah.
It's a really long list, I guess.
No, that's good. Yep.
We look at everything from email marketing systems so that we can create trigger email campaigns depending on the customer's touch point along the way. We have systems to manage all of our different channels and switch budgets between whichever channel is performing and optimising at a particular point in time. Mm-hmm. And then I guess it's also collecting the data behind the scenes so that you can make insights-based decisions and adjust your campaigns accordingly.
Yep. Okay. What's one marketing lesson you've learned along the way that you won't forget? I can tell you mine. Years ago, I mean, I've been in travel for quite some time. I ran a $8,000 ad in a newspaper, because back then there was only newspapers, and I forgot to put my phone number in it. Yep. That's my biggest one. Sorry, always a call to action in every ad. Sorry, Kari?
I learnt a lesson really early on in my career, is to listen to the customer. And this came about when a customer had called us up to say that our website had been hijacked by an, how would I put it, an adult entertainment site.
Okay.
And I was like, no, surely not. And then happened to log in to look at this particular website just as my CEO was walking past me. Kari, we don't look at websites like that in here. So I guess a long way is to, yes, listen to your customer. What are their needs? What are they asking for? And answering those needs.
Yeah, okay. Georgina, what's one marketing lesson that you've learned that you won't forget?
Can you top that?
I can't top that.
You can't talk about it. Okay. Okay. I thought mine was bad, but anyway. Stephanie?
Yeah, I'm really not sure how you follow that. But
Okay, so what's one marketing lesson that, you've learned that you won't forget? So we can sort of, teach the audience, So.
Sure, I've definitely, I guess, had the experience when I was doing a parental leave cover role for a while, and an ad went out, or an ad was scheduled. A team member went on leave, and the artwork hadn't been sent through, so properly. They ran with a previous one, which wasn't quite the desired one. It wasn't the end of the world. It still kind of said the right message, but yeah, it's really about checking those deadlines and making sure you're aware of all of that, so that the right thing goes out.
Yep. Yeah, I think during the pandemic and partway through there, being flexible and nimble, to adjust to the market pretty quickly. That was really, really important. More recently, is Troy Clary in the audience? Has he gone? Thank God for that. Anyway, Troy rang me the other day and he said, Brad, I got your EDM, but I can't even contact you.
Oh, why?
It was, I had the wrong email address down.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that was through MailChimp. So
Okay,
don't do that again.
So final question, looking ahead, what trends do you anticipate in the coming years in terms of marketing, branding and loyalty? Yep, you go.
I'll just step in here. We've had debates about this, Bruce and I, because we think that there's people who are going to be sucking up technology and absorbing it and wanting every single possible option not to interface with a human being. They don't want to make a phone call, they just want to send everything by message. And then there's the other side of the coin, which is the complete opposite of, I want someone to tie my shoelaces, I want someone who knows my name, I want a human being who's going to look after me and care for me and make me feel safe and secure while I travel. So I don't think you can say it's as simple as everyone's going down the technology front, and if you don't have an app, then your business isn't going to survive.
It's really understanding who your customers are, who your key customers are in terms of the most ones that are booking the most, and really sort of making sure that you're communicating with them well as well. So, Kari?
Oh, look, I think that's right. The fundamentals, answering the needs of your customers, is always going to be important. Looking ahead, I think we've got a younger group of customers coming through. They're going to be used to using things like ChatGPT, etc. Yeah. So it's how we integrate AI and the next-gen AI into our systems and processes. But again, as long as that answers the needs of the customers and how they're using technology.
Yep. Stephanie?
I think it's a really interesting topic because, there's so much that's changing in that space and what's coming. As we're seeing, how is the voice search going to, the voice activated thing, are people going to be wanting that more in hotels, or how is that going to change the searching of hotels or the ChatGPT AI search scenario? It sort of changes the game a bit. So what's coming, I guess, keep monitoring and see what happens.
Yeah. Brad?
Yeah, there's a lot more tools out there for people, and to be able to do a lot more research, and to, particularly if it's they're on vacation, is to look at what's available, what the feedback's like at hotels, and people are getting more savvy and using technology, so AI will be a big part of that, without a doubt.
And I've been in marketing now for about 20 years. When there used to be newspapers, the only way you could actually book a hotel is call them. Then emails came out, then websites came out, then search marketing. It's really just understanding where your key market is coming from and really understanding where you have to invest your money, because you can't invest your money in all those channels. But to me, everyone's on the web, so good website, good search marketing, good email marketing I think is essential. Social's more of an awareness. So you don't really have to be on all those channels. You really have to understand where your markets are, who they are. Because as I said, 20 years ago, you could only ring them. And now you can book via an app, you can book by all sorts of things as well. Just really understanding your market and having the right data to understand where you get the best return on ad spend. So please thank my panel. Thank you very much.